I'm Jo. I'm going to share with you my Milo and talk you through it. So in terms of just a little bit, a tiny bit of context, I left my corporate role at the end of last year in America, which was a very traditional professional role. I led a team, a global team, and had global responsibilities. I'm now relocating internationally. I'm looking at what my next professional chapter looks like, and whether that be in another corporate role, as well as some consultancy coaching and an independent entrepreneurial venture. So when thinking about lean and my leadership, it looks very different to what it did. Some of the key learnings from step one of this process was that my greatest challenge is not necessarily capability, but more intentionality and being really thoughtful around what that looks like. My current time allocation favours the present commitments, which ultimately is parenting and executive MBA right now, over those future longer term goal and value creation. From an energy perspective, my mental energy is the highest, probably fed by my executive MBA and the curiosity that comes with that. But my physical energy is my lowest, and I recognize that the mental energy is taking much of that time and needs rebuilding, as does my spiritual energy, which used to be one of my highest, and now with a very strong sense of purpose, which has now changed to has dropped a little bit and needs kind of rebuilding, because that's where I get a huge amount of energy from typically. I thrive through learning, through coaching, relationship building, and purpose-driven work. And from a saboteur perspective, my tendencies are typically the pleaser, being hypervigilant, stickler, hyperachiever, and restlessness. And this kind of creates, when in overdrive, creates waste through overcommitment, overthinking, perfectionism, and distraction, in terms of having lots of different good ideas and not focusing in on one or two to add the greatest value. When considering lean leadership, it's really requiring me to think about, how do I focus on this finite amount of time and energy that I have to create that value, rather than trying to do everything. And how I'm planning to recover that and reduce waste in this next future state that the Milo represents, it is, first and foremost, I'll have to redeploy around 30 hours of my executive MBA work that I'm doing per week to these other longer term activities. I want to batch similar activities together, such as networking, collaborating, coaching, to reduce context switching, which drains my energy right now. I want to reduce reactive networking in favor of more purposeful relationship building conversations. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, for example, you'll see alternates going into the city and spending time in the city, really having conversations with people from the industry, peers, business associates, etc., on a much deeper level, rather than more spontaneous networking or ad hoc conversations. And I want to be using experimentation and the good enough notion to kind of reduce some of that perfectionism, or that need to over process and overthink, especially on some of these future thinking or future activities, such as the shore move, which is via business adventure, and the consulting and coaching. When I'm rethinking and designing, how do I create more shorter experiments to try some things and continuously improve as I go. And then also building some structure like this, and build some routines and standard work that helps simplify my decision making as I move forward. At the same time, you'll see a lot of yellow, because there's certain activities or stakeholders like my family, my son, that I want to, and well-being, that I want to prioritize and have as non-negotiables, as such, as I kind of move forward, so my energy levels don't drop in those places, and increase the time on these future forward activities, as I mentioned. And I also want to use those lean principles to really think about how do I create value, but also how do I continue the respect for people principle that I've always held quite central for others, but also for myself moving forward, which has got a little bit lost. The benefits or the outcomes of this and what I'm hoping for from me is improved physical and spiritual well-being, greater clarity and focus and purpose, moving forward into this next chapter, and a more sustainable and energizing way of working that gets me out of a 13-hour day in sitting at a desk, and creates some dynamism in my week, which gives me that energy, both professionally and personally. And then for others, being more intentionally present. So with my family, with collaborators, having deeper conversations, more high quality engagements with my clients and coaching clients. At the same time, creating some of those clearer boundaries about what they can and can't expect of me, to manage that pleaser within me. And just basically create that capacity to be able to really explore some of these business ventures and this future work. And in terms of closing, like rather than viewing Milo as a fixed blueprint, I want to approach it through the lean principles of that continuous improvement, Kaizen, using smaller experiments, the reflections, and that continuous adjustment to kind of redesign how I lead myself and others through this transition.
That's perfect. And it shows here really well that you're not only looking at what you can do more, but also how you want to do the things that you already do. And it's really closely connected to the Golden Circle of Simon Sinek as well, which I think is going to be a continuous topic for you, because you talk a lot about intention, and I noticed that how you show up is really important to you in every area of your life right now. So what is your why? I think this is one coaching question I have to you in any kind of regard when it looks to why do you want to spend more time with your family? Why do you want to spend more time, or the time that you have with the stakeholders? And I think it will also then tick off or connect the search for right now for your spiritual energy, when you're more aware of what actually makes you set this meeting up now, or what really gives you energy, and where you feel maybe even a tingle in your belly or on your skin. I think this will connect you a lot. Looking at the physical time, I think you might have the opportunity here as well to connect it with someone, another stakeholder, like use it for your business development. Maybe you can go on a yoga class with someone you know, or maybe you meet new people there and you can introduce yourself. I think this will help you also to please your saboteur that wants to, the high achiever, or whatever you else. And then also on the perfectionist side, I think using the saboteurs also intentional, and then noticing when one of them is taking over, because you're now transitioning into a new phase of your life, and it's a lot of new things, new city, new kind of job, career. So I'm imagining your saboteurs are being even more vigilant than they are. So how can you channel them? What can you tell yourself to soothe yourself, to ground yourself? Who can you lean on? And then I think it will naturally cut off things for you as you notice that it will remove pleaser behaviors and other saboteur behaviors that at the moment make you overcommit where you don't want to.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Really helpful.
Perfect. That was, I think, even under 10 minutes.
Yeah.